Hello everyone. I haven't made a video in a while, and honestly it's because the format I chose stopped working. I wanted each video to be a deep dive into a new undervalued company, but over time I kept running into the same problem. Most of the businesses I researched just weren't good enough to buy, and I didn't want to force ideas just for the sake of making videos or waste your time on companies that I ultimately didn't rate as buy. However, I recently talked to a friend and he convinced me that just covering my thoughts and personal actions with my portfolio could be as interesting for some of you, and I'm willing to give it a try. So in this video, I will cover my recent actions in past 3 months and provide a brief summary and reasoning behind those. Without further ado, let's start. So, as most of you probably aware, because of war in Iran, there was a massive sell-off in the market, especially in March, which provided several buying opportunities, and I made use of some of them. The biggest buys that I've done was into Mercado Libre. I opened a position, didn't catch the absolute bottom on this, but I'm still pretty happy with my average price of 1728. I think that this company has a dominant position in their region, a very long runway for growth, and fundamentals for Mercado Libre are stellar. So at this price, I think it was a good buy with a big margin of safety. I know that the operating margin for the company has decreased for the quarter, but I like the underlying reason behind the margin compression. Company's management spending aggressively into solidifying their moat and capturing market share, and over the last decade, they have proven to be very effective capital allocators. So I give them benefit of the doubt, especially given their impressive results. Another company that I added to needs no introduction. It's MasterCard. I've actually doubled my position in MasterCard over March, and I've been holding Visa for the longest time, but I've exited my position in July last year. And since then, both MasterCard and Visa were drifting lower, and I've been favoring MasterCard because I like their value added services revenue growth, and I think that they have a more aggressive buyback program, which is a nice bonus. Don't want to spend too much time on MasterCard because it's probably a company that everyone made a video about. So it's a buy with a big margin of safety as well. Now, to fund my purchases in Mercado Libre and MasterCard, I had to find extra money somewhere, and I happened to hold two companies that held their prices pretty well through the dip, which were Pfizer and Kazatomprom. I've been holding Kazatomprom shares since April last year, so I doubled my money. It's not that I don't like the company, it's just I've been provided a buying opportunity because of the massive dip on Mercado Libre price. I decided to exit Kazatomprom to fund my Mercado Libre purchase since it was a significant gain in just under 1 year of time. Pfizer had a more marginal upside for me, just about 7%, but I've been getting some dividends as well. Again, it's not that I don't like this company at this price, it's just that I needed more funds for more aggressive purchases. I think that's actually the point of having defensive stocks is that when you get the scared market, you have something to sell at a good price to buy better opportunities. And that is exactly what I did. Undervalued growth segment for me are the companies with the potential for re-rating on top of improving fundamentals. I think those companies are trading at depressed price multiples that are not indicative of the company's quality, it comes from some, as I see it, market misunderstanding of the business or simply putting too much emphasis on the risks. And during this dip, I have added to Sony, as I see a very undervalued company right now. I think it's a matter of time when the market realizes that the company has been moving into a more lean and efficient structure. And I think the management is doing a wonderful job at that. So I expect Sony to outperform market in next several years. Another company that I added to is Kaspi. From simply mathematical point of view, this company makes no sense. What do I mean is that they grow their top and bottom line double digits every year, and they are paying a dividend yield of about 8.5% right now. And they're trading at trailing P of 6.9, which is a valuation of a company that is dying, which couldn't be further from truth for Kaspi. The company is still growing. They are expanding into a new geographical area through Hepsiburada in Turkey. I know that often the currency issue is brought up, that the Kazakhstan tenge is a very weak currency, which is historically true, but Kazakhstan is also a petro economy that depends on the price of oil. And as you can see, it's been getting stronger against dollar ever since October. So this argument is not as clear cut as it used to be in an environment where the oil prices are likely to stay high for longer. Last but not least, I added Uber. I think it is also a company that is rated wrong. I believe that there is a market perception that robotaxi will destroy Uber's business model, and I think that it is simply ignorant take on the company. In many ways, Uber could benefit from the robotaxi, and they are partnering with multiple robotaxi companies. Of course, Tesla are doing a very good job at marketing their robotaxi capabilities. Before I actually see them making money on that, I will give Uber benefit of the doubt, because the only true moat in software is scale. It is the hardest part of any software business, and Uber has it. The last segment I want to talk about is my Biotech Pre-revenue segment. It's a smaller portion of my portfolio by allocation because of how uncertain and uncontrollable some of the risks. But I believe that if you do your due diligence and understand technology behind the startup, you can find diamond in the rough. If you have watched my videos from the last year, you know that I have purchased shares of ALMS. I've purchased them around $7 per share and managed to sell them at around $23, $27 range. I didn't hit the absolute top, but I rarely do, so I am not very surprised that I didn't. I actually have another biotech company that I want to talk about. It is Antares Technologies. All of the proceeds from ALMS trade I have put into this company, and I think this is one of the least risky biotech companies you can buy right now. Why? Because, first of all, biotech engineering is much more predictable than pharma companies, because in medical engineering, once it's proven that the concept is working, it is much more likely to repeat success because it doesn't have to struggle as much with unpredictable reactions of the human anatomy. And heart valves designed by Antares Technologies has already proven that they are superior to existing designs. And to prove that point, one of the competitors, Medtronic, has purchased 16% of this company at 5.75 per share. This is basically a preparation for eventual buyout. If you're interested, I will give more thorough breakdown of the technology and reasons why I'm so convinced that this company will be bought out eventually in the next video. I believe that sums up most of my actions for Q1 2026. Thank you for your time. Like, subscribe, leave a comment if that was interesting or not.